Diddy's dark secrets have just surfaced, exposing a troubling side to the music entrepreneur that many have long suspected but few have dared to address. Often seen as a glitzy front, Hollywood is full of ominous undertones and twisted rituals that have been right under view. Comedian Katt has taken the stage to highlight this terrifying truth and link Diddy to a network of exploitation that is as frightening as it is startling. Williams revealed in a riveting interview with Shannon Sharpe a horrific event that underlined the shocking extent to which Diddy is ready to go in to get allegiance from his friends. Williams related how Diddy made an incredible $50 million offer, but with a caveat that would leave many aghast that he had to engage in an emasculation ceremony, designed to show devotion and surrender. This hideous initiation was something Williams absolutely turned down not once but 4 times. His strong position on this issue begs serious issues about the moral concessions usually expected in the business. Williams' insights have far-reaching consequences beyond his own experience. He claims that Diddy is closely tied to a bigger network of Hollywood predators that abuse vulnerable people, frequently employing deception and intimidation to keep control. According to Williams, this isn't only a matter of one man's depravity, it refers to a systematic problem inside Hollywood, where power relations lead to exploitation. Williams' experience reinforces a bigger storyline that has long been spoken about in Hollywood circles. Many artists and industry insiders have hinted at similar experiences, fostering an environment of dread and quiet. It raises the question, how many others have been contacted with similar offers? And what penalties did they suffer if they dared to refuse? The culture of complicity in Hollywood not only shields powerful people like Diddy, but also promotes an atmosphere in which abuse may flourish. Diddy's alleged behaviors aren't isolated events. They are part of a trend that reveals the darker side of celebrity. The temptation of money and success sometimes blinds people to the moral consequences connected. For many, the price of admittance into this restricted environment is not only their dignity, but also their fundamental sense of self. Williams' unwillingness to be bought serves as a striking testimony to the significance of integrity and self-worth in an industry that frequently puts business above individuals. Moreover, the attention that Williams' charges have attracted signifies a critical time for Hollywood. The business has come under investigation in recent years, with movements like Me Too revealing the severe abuse and exploitation that have long been condoned. If Williams' disclosures trigger more investigations into Diddy and others like him, it might lead to a much-needed reckoning. Yet, when these dark truths come to light, one cannot help but worry about the implications for those who dare to speak up. The entertainment business is known for its capacity to stifle dissident voices, frequently via intimidation or punishment. Williams' boldness in sharing his tale is laudable, but it also serves as a reminder of the dangers inherent in defying the status quo. The story unfolds to reveal that this is just the tip. The twisted network of power, exploitation, and control inside Hollywood is immense, and people are starting to take notice. While Williams has taken a heroic stance, it is necessary for more folks to tell their tales and reveal the facts hiding behind the surface. In conclusion, Diddy's reported dark practices and the frightening rituals linked with them shine light on a problematic element of Hollywood that cannot be ignored. As more voices join the chorus of people ready to address this nasty underbelly, we may finally begin to see the reforms required to safeguard individuals who have been affected by this culture of exploitation. It's time for the business to hold itself responsible and establish an atmosphere where artists can succeed without surrendering their integrity.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Interestingly, the $50 million offer Diddy gave to Katt mirrored the sum indicated in Diddy's own bail letter, a point that the court inexplicably overlooked. This relationship raises suspicions about the guy behind the music mogul facade and highlights the disturbing practices tied to his enterprise. Katt denial of Diddy's unnerving pitch demonstrates not only his moral fortitude but also hints at the larger consequences of similar offers in Hollywood. Williams, with his unique viewpoint, expressed that he prefers what he has above the lure of tremendous money, coupled with troubling situations. In his words, "I'm favored by God," he displayed a feeling of thankfulness and self-awareness that many in the field could miss in their quest for success. He promoted a mentality that resists the attraction of consumerism, emphasizing that genuine joy comes from appreciating one's benefits rather than wanting what others possess. This ethical approach is a pleasant contrast to the mindset that frequently motivates people to sacrifice their ideals in return for fame and money. His observations transcend beyond personal integrity. They also touch on a larger philosophical understanding of relationships and wants. Williams said, "I don't have a type of woman. Every lady I have had is a type I ended up getting. And now she's not the type anymore. This viewpoint reflects his idea that every human is distinct and valued, rather than just fitting a preconceived pattern. It's a reminder that meaningful connection transcends superficial categorization, challenging people to recognize the underlying value in everyone rather than limiting them to labels or stereotypes. Avoiding the agreement with Diddy might be considered a tight escape for Williams, particularly in light of the current legal difficulties involving the music tycoon. The indictment against Diddy has uncovered a horrific list of claims, including human trafficking, forced labor, abduction, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. These severe charges paint a picture of a man who has reportedly resorted to extraordinary means to preserve power and control over people around him. Reports suggest that Diddy deployed a variety of deceitful strategies to frighten his victims. The psychological and emotional toll of such acts may be devastating, inflicting lifelong scars on persons who may already be fragile. For Williams, the unwillingness to connect with someone like Diddy was not only a rejection of a money offer, it was a purposeful decision to protect his dignity and reject a society that requires submission for success. Moreover, the larger consequences of Williams' experience resound across the entertainment business. Many others have presumably faced similar decisions, frequently cloaked in secret due to fear of punishment or solitude. Williams' testimony serves as a rallying cry for others who may feel stuck under the limits of an exploitative system. His bravery in coming up invites people to analyze their own experiences and contemplate the cost of silence. In today's dynamic world, there's a growing realization that the music and film industries must face these structural concerns head-on. As more people come forward with their tales, the tide may begin to change against the exploitative tactics that have long been accepted. Williams' reluctance to engage in Diddy's unpleasant rituals might encourage others to reclaim their narratives and struggle against the urge to adhere to damaging conventions. Ultimately, Williams reflects a trend towards valuing honesty over compliance. His viewpoint reminds us that genuine prosperity consists in self-respect and integrity, rather than the transitory appeal of money that comes with a price. As Hollywood grapples with its darker realities, it is vital to promote voices like Williams, whose choices represent the possibilities for resilience and empowerment in an industry frequently characterized by exploitation. Picture of the issues encountered in Hollywood. The pull of riches and celebrity may be tempting, although Williams' tale emphasizes the significance of holding on to one's ideals in the face of temptation. As more stories emerge and the business addresses its hidden horrors, perhaps we will see a shift that values people's well-being and dignity above the drive for power and control. Violence to emotional and sensual blackmail, nothing was off the table for Diddy. What's more, he recorded his victims without their knowledge and later used the footage to threaten them to participate against their will. And get this. The freak-offs were so physically exhausting that the victims had to be hooked up to IV fluids afterward. And if you thought that was messed up, well, wait until you hear this next part. Prosecutors talked about Diddy plotting to kidnap someone at blank point in the bail letter in the morning hours of December 22nd, 2011. The defendant Diddy and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at blank point to facilitate breaking into and entering the residence of another individual. Multiple witnesses would testify at trial to the events surrounding the kidnapping and break-in, the latter of which is corroborated by police reports and other records. And approximately 2 weeks later, the defendant's co-conspirators set fire to the individual's vehicle by slicing open the car's convertible T and dropping a Molotov cocktail within the interior police end. Fire department records extensively document the arson and conclude that the fire was intentionally set, though the indictment didn't dig into the allegations as extensively except for the freak-offs. It seems like there's a lot more that will be revealed in court. That said, the Diddy fiasco wasn't Katt's first rodeo. Harvey Weinstein offered him the same offer, but Katt shot him down as well, because if there's one thing the comic cherishes more than anything, it's his integrity.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. If I get there, there's 3 other black guys on that. Woo! Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got raped in the bathroom, and that's what Ricky Smiley was okay with. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we talk about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy,
Right.
where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves It's never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. I'm not gonna come later on and tell you, I never even read the whole script. So how you know what roles? What? What do you mean you never read the like, these guys' whole job is to present something, unfortunately. And I'm just not a presenter. If you ask me a question, I'm just gonna tell you the truth of how it went.
Would you be willing to do another Friday?
Cube already asked me to write it. I was supposed to have been writing it. This is what these guys are mad about. Like, we lost some great people before this movie could come out regardless.
Right.
And so yes, there desperately needs to be one.
Katt Williams' unwillingness to succumb to the demands of Hollywood's elite has emboldened him to speak up about the dark underbelly of the entertainment business. With no fear of penalties related to mistaken conceptions of allegiance, he has become a critical voice in exposing the terrible behaviors that occur behind the scenes. His allegations shed light on how many in Hollywood indulge in nefarious activities, including the performing of satanic rituals. Williams has alleged that a major percentage of the Hollywood elite worships Baphomet, a deity steeped in mysticism that is commonly represented with both masculine and feminine attributes, along with animalistic aspects. This dualism is thought to signify the union of opposites, light and dark, masculine and female, allowing followers to tap into a deeper power. According to Williams, these ceremonies are not only symbolic, they are thought to bestow riches, power, and rep the troubling behaviors that Williams describes transcend beyond simple symbolism. They entail elaborate ceremonies that frequently demand members to surrender their integrity. For many Black comedians, the expectation to wear gowns or indulge in humiliating actions is not simply a decision but part of a bigger initiation procedure aimed to show commitment to the industry's gatekeepers. Williams' activism against this practice stems from his belief that such humiliations degrade artists and prolong a cycle of exploitation that has plagued Hollywood for decades. One idea claims that Diddy's famed freak-offs may be connected to these practices. The implication that these activities may be a type of initiation adds a dimension of complexity to the claims against him. If accurate, it depicts Diddy not just as a person who has made bad decisions, but as someone entrenched in a wider system that utilizes as a tool of control. This possibility raises concerns about how many other important people may be engaging in similar actions, and how these relationships sustain a culture of fear and submission. Williams' boldness in revealing these realities is especially crucial in the context of an industry that relies on quiet and complicity. He stands out as a figure who questions the established quo, calling attention to the moral sacrifices that many artists suffer. By demonstrating the relationship between power, money, and degrading rituals, he challenges people to reassess their responsibilities within a system that demands such sacrifices. Furthermore, these rites have deep cultural implications. Williams believes that the requirement for Black comedians to dress in a manner that maintains stereotypes not only undermines their talent but also promotes detrimental myths about Black masculinity. The demands to comply with these demeaning rituals affect not only individual careers, but also the depiction of underrepresented communities in mainstream media. Williams' emphasis on authenticity over acquiescence is a strong message that resonates profoundly in a nation wrestling with questions of identity and representation. As the discourse around Hollywood's dark secrets continues to expand, Williams' views give an important prism through which to evaluate the nuances of power relations inside the business. His reluctance to engage in the warped rituals connected with people like Diddy serves as a light of hope for others who may feel imprisoned by an exploitative system. He inspires people to reclaim their narratives and fight the temptations.
Feel about the ritual. It's about does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses, everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
It's a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was gonna be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things will become popular in the future. And that somehow calling people the GOAT would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
God damn, we got some good weed. God, Jesus Christ.
This must be the
That said, none of this.
Why Hollywood elites should be shaking in their boots whenever a cat decides to talk. Oh, because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man were in a corner doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, you would tell it. No, somebody come to tell me, okay? I gather that I value that I'll pay for that. Come tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know. And they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain, not the guy that raises black children, and ain't never done a hard in his life, and don't have any stories of doing nobody dirty, and they'll just go out and they'll lie that the industry doesn't mess with cats because he didn't show up for the studio. No studio has ever said that. Look at my IMDb, it will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. Interestingly, the comedians have something to say even now after the news of Diddy's arrest got around. The comedian shared a clip from Bad Boy 2 titled POV. When you leave a Diddy party, who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What do they look at him? He also posted another clip from 1991's New Jack City with Diddy's face edited onto Nilo Brown's body, which he then captured in the story. Diddy is about to snitch on everybody. Who are you talking about, Mr. Brown? What do they look at? Karim Aber. That's true. The educated brother from the bank, he's the genuine head of the Sneed Cat's remarks regarding Diddy snitching, the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial workers and combs to and from freak-offs, SIRS applying comms with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to comms to pay the commercial workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids in or about March 2024. During searches of comms residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including substances and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, and get this, Katt was right. No one is safe, according to Michael Wilson, a Howard Law student. Others who were involved could likely be brought up on conspiracy and racketeering charges as well. He also said if there were foreign officials involved or paid off, there could be criminal charges under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. And so at the end of the day, there's no denying the fact that Katt really was trying to warn us about Diddy. And since what he said turned out to be true, everyone should pay careful attention to Katt when he claims that Hollywood is supposedly managed by a ring of predators. There are more Diddys lurking in the shadows as for fans. Well, they're all for Katt revealing the truth. One user commented, "If you can't buy a cat for 50 million, you aren't going to bail yourself out for 50 million either." Meanwhile, another person commented, "I never really cared for Diddy, but his wanting to take cats raw with no protection for emasculation value gives me a sense of revulsion I never felt before. Now this sick man needs to be imprisoned away for the rest of his life." But what do you think of the issue? Did Diddy actually approach Katt, and should Katt be afraid about his safety for playing with the devil? Let us know in the comment section below.